And we're back with
We're
another
back.
trade. Got the trade here in my little card notepad. You know how it be. The Warriors ended up getting Jimmy Butler. The Heat ended up getting Wiggins, PJ Tucker, a protected first round pick, and Kyle Anderson. The Pistons got Richardson and Waters. And Jazz got Schroeder. Jimmy
Where do you,
finally
where do
got
you
traded.
start? You gotta start. I mean, you gotta start with the big dog, Just,
Jimmy Butler.
it's over, It's finally over. Um, no more need for, private planes, no more need for, you know, suspensions, unnecessary suspensions. Also, you didn't even mention the 2 year, 100, what
Yep.
was it,
I think it's a
121, 2 year,
121. Yeah, 2 year 121
$121 million
extension.
dollars.
Crazy.
60 mil a year. So he got what he wanted. Both teams got what they wanted. Um, yeah, it's uh Warriors are definitely a better team. Uh, I think for sure. You still get to keep some of your young pieces. You still get to keep Moody. For somehow they didn't have to give up Kaminga.
They
Um,
basically kept everybody. Like
somehow they
basically
didn't have to.
screwed up everybody.
I mean, you upgrade Andrew Wiggins. I mean, which is what more could you ask for? And I think, you get to make a final push, with, Steph is Asian, Draymond's Asian, you know what I mean? So aging, not Asian, right? Um, so, they're both, I mean, you get to see like what they can do, with this core,
Yep,
right?
Steph finally got another man right there to help him out. Jimmy's been proven to, he took the Heat to two finals by
Facts.
himself. So now, imagine him having somebody like Curry next to him is gonna be in a great, amazing thing to watch. Now the thing that's very interesting here is
Hmm.
the personality. So Jimmy and Draymond. Could
Okay.
it be possible that later on in the season, maybe this season, next season, they crash? It happened with KD. Could it happen with
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler?
I don't know if, I mean, I don't know KD personally, but like just from the outside looking in, I don't know if KD's like cut from that same cloth of like Jimmy and Draymond, like Jimmy and Draymond, they got like that alpha, just bulldog,
But that's it. If they're
get it out
both,
the mud.
if they both want to be alphas, could they
Okay.
crash? Or you think
Oh,
they'll
okay.
come in understanding with we're both on the same page? Like maybe they have the same drive and they understand that, or they crash.
Well, no, they're both winners in my eyes. Like really, they're both winners. Um, from what interviews I've seen with Jimmy, and then just seeing Draymond talk, on his own show, like they're both winners. Jimmy's wants to win at all costs, and he may not. He may be blunt, for some people who's not used to that, or maybe he's not built like that. And then Draymond may be the exact same way, right? You know, but Draymond's way of leadership may be punching his teammate in the face, right? You know what I mean? And talking it back, pause. But like, so I mean, hopefully, that it doesn't get that far, but I think it could work though. I mean, I see where you're going, but I think it could work though. Now, here Miami, are you still retiring his jersey, Jimmy's jersey? Well, I mean, I don't want to say still because maybe that wasn't an option. Does Miami retire his jersey, in your opinion?
Honestly, the way he left off, probably not.
Really? You think it's
Because he
that hurt?
clashed. Let's be honest. Who runs the Heat?
Uh,
Pat.
yeah,
Pat clashed with Jimmy Butler. So there's a
yeah.
chance, as long as Pat's there, his jersey's not getting retired.
I don't know though. I don't know. I don't know if their situation. I don't know if it got that personal though. I think it was just all business. Like Jim, he clearly wasn't going to pay him. Right? They're moving in another direction. And I want to hold that thought too because I want to talk about that. I want to talk about the East side too. He's going in another direction. Jimmy wants to get paid, right? The Heat weren't going to pay him. So
Now look,
why now? Now the situation. Now the thing is, I don't know if Jimmy was doing this like the whole just all the theatrics, everything. Was he doing this to preserve his body, like for a trade, so he doesn't get hurt? To secure the 2 year, 121 million, or was it just
oh,
something else? Like, was it personal? Like,
he got what he wanted.
was it a Minnesota like was it a Minnesota, practice part two?
Crazy.
You know what I mean? But
As
no, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say move about the Heat, but go ahead and finish your statement.
Yeah, no, no, go for it. Go for it.
The Heat, as somebody, you have that Heat blood, that
Here we
Miami
go.
blood. Uh, how do you feel about the
Wait,
items
focus
you
on
got
my
back?
side.
How do you feel
Uh,
about the items you got back? An old PJ Tucker,
dude.
Kyle Anderson, who they were gonna trade away to the Raptors, but it didn't go through,
Yeah, it didn't go through.
and Wiggins.
First of all, I'm an OKC fan. Let's get that out the way.
Heat blood.
Number one in the West. I do hail from the city that the Heat dwell in. But
City.
um, yeah, I mean, I don't know how to answer your question. No, I'm an OKC fan myself. So, but
Was the return
now,
enough?
huh?
Was the return enough?
See,
Wiggins.
and that was going to be my next point. That's why I wanted to hold my thought because, you know, you heard all these names circling, right? Earlier in the season, you heard De'Aaron Fox, right? You heard
He get traded.
uh sometimes, I mean, even earlier, like before the season started, you even heard Damian Lillard, right? Um, then you hear Damian Lillard, De'Aaron Fox, those type of guys, right? And then you heard like Brad, and now then you heard Bradley Beal, right? So to get Andrew Wiggins, which isn't like he's not a terrible player, but I'm just trying to see like how do they build like how do they like I don't what's the core gonna be? I guess Bam is solidified, right? Hero is solidified, right?
I mean,
Um,
try to trade him like 30 times, but I mean, yeah.
I don't know. Do you trade Hero though? Like really? Do you?
I don't know where the Heat are going from here.
That's what I mean. Um, it's like I guess you have to build around Bam. You know what I mean? Like kind of like with the Raptors, they have to build around Scotty, right? But like I don't know. First, they don't have a point guard. They don't have a true point guard right now. Um, Rozier, um, I don't know if he's ever been a true point guard. He's always been kind of that Spencer Dinwiddie type combo, combo type of guard, which is why he was able to play next to LaMelo at the two guard position, right? Because he could play both positions. Um, I don't see it. Like I don't see. I mean, Wiggins is a great player. He's a great piece, but is Wiggins gonna? I mean, Wiggins does have number one option, you know, capacity, even number two option with Hero, right? But I don't know if that I'm curious to see if that's gonna be enough, to compete in the East and compete. I don't know what their seeding is. Have you seen the Heat seeding? Like what's
Six?
their seeding right now?
I think they're
So
six.
yeah. All right, so they're six, right? So I mean, I would hope they could just make their stay in that range and stay out of playing. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
We'll see how they build it. Don't know the direction the Heat are going in really. Also don't know the direction that the Pistons and the Jazz are going with. Two
Yeah,
teams that were included in this trade, which
good
I
question.
feel like they were just in here for salary fillers. Somebody had to
Yeah,
take these players. Pistons, they're at the bottom. I mean, ain't much you could do say about the Pistons. They got to focus on that young core. Um, and Jazz, Dennis Schroeder. I don't know what Dennis Schroeder's really going to do for the Jazz. Kind of wish he would have stayed over there in Brooklyn. He was doing good.
he's doing
Um,
great in Brooklyn.
but hey, D'Lo doing great over there in Brooklyn too. So
Yeah, he is. He's solid. Um, I think yeah, with the Jazz, I'm not too sure either, like what they're doing. I mean they could use now the thing is they're a development team, so they're in the like you gotta play your young guys, right? So right now they're starting Keontae George at point guard, right? And then, but then him and Collier are competing a little bit. So do you throw a shooter in there to kind of mess up the development of those two young guys who are probably going to be, you know, young pieces that you're going to need later on down the road when you try to compete for a championship, right? So I
Sure.
mean, I guess a buyout. Also, I'm curious, like, I mean, even with like we didn't talk about it, but like Middleton, right? Like, do you see Middleton doing a buyout in his trade to the Wizards, in your opinion? Like, do you see him staying there? Because
Save that for that video. Save that for that video, my boy.
I'll say, my bad, I'll say, but nah. Like, yeah, I think, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the Detroit, I mean, Lindy Waters he adds some shooting, with Malik Beasley and Tobias. He's a floor stretcher, but I mean, yeah, I'm curious. I didn't hear you talk too much about the Warriors. Like, do you think are they a better team in your opinion? Like, I mean, I know you talked about like Draymond and Jimmy potentially clashing, but
They're a
them as an
better team.
overall team, like,
They're a
what do
better
you,
team.
okay,
They're a better
like,
team. You got
how
Jimmy
are,
Butler's defense adding into that. And honestly, a star. To the point where you could take alleviate pressure off Steph Curry, and you didn't have that before. So I
right.
think the Warriors did good. They didn't get the KD they wanted, but they got Jimmy Butler.
And he's switching to number 10 too, so it's like, I mean, that'll be interesting, JB10. I don't know what 10 is. I'm curious what the reasoning behind the number 10 is. It's gotta be like some troll, like it's gotta be something troll. Like knowing like seeing what Jimmy Butler's done in the past, like it's gotta be some type of troll, like something like
Um,
in a deeper meaning. But yeah, I mean it's a great trade for the Warriors for sure. The
great
Heat, I
trade.
mean we'll see what Wiggins does. But yeah, I mean I'm excited to see, Jimmy and Draymond, on the court,
On the
competing.
defensive end of the court.
Right, that's gonna be great.
Shout out to Jimmy for getting what he wanted.
Shout out to Jimmy.